couldn't hear that.
La, 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 la. Got my tiny little game.
There we are. Oh, let me turn. Crap, which one? Yep.
Is that me?
No, that was me. Yeah, that was you, but that was me. There we go. We're going.
It's you or me or all of the people.
Oh, that's right. I have to watch it in portrait.
You can also just open the chat, right? You know that, right?
Where?
Are you talking about Mob Crush?
Yes. I'm in the Mob Crush app.
Oh, I don't know about the app. You just go to your web browser.
And
Oh.
if it has /chat at the end, it's just the chat.
Oh, yeah.
So it saves on streaming.
In the app, it has to. I can't have stream and chat in landscape.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that.
A lot of them are like that.
Are you
Twitch
pulling-
does that too.
You're pulling
Yeah.
the chat up on there, though.
It's already
Well, no,
there.
you can.
Just
It's
no one's posted.
You can in Twitch.
Oh,
it's just
you just
complex
refreshed it.
No,
on how to do it.
when I do the pop out chat, it only shows the most. Since I hit pop out, like if you go to the page, it still shows everybody.
So if Philip were to post, I would see that up
Yeah.
there. Okay.
But yeah, for on Twitch,
There it is.
if you go landscape, you
Cool.
hit a button. You got to hit that button like 3 times in order for it to actually pop up the chat.
That's annoying.
Or on Twitch, actually, you can hit chat only.
Oh.
There's it's like the 3-line one of the settings. You can click on and go chat only,
Cool.
or you can even do like audio and chat or something like that.
Let's go.
So, what order are we thinking we'll talk about games? I just thought about this. It could maybe, alleviate a little hiccup.
Smallest to biggest. Stack them all back up.
Well, I was gonna talk about Seafall probably first.
Okay.
And
So
then,
you're talking about it even though you posted the big long blog post?
Yeah, it's more of a summary. I'm not gonna go into huge detail.
You could just refer people to the blog.
Well, I will,
I'm just-
but I'm gonna give a more
know.
spoiler-free,
for those people who yeah. No, I'm
a more
teasing.
spoiler-free version.
I'm just teasing you.
Hey, Philip's online.
All right.
Hey, Phil.
Felipe.
Oh, while we're waiting for people to join in on the stream, starting tomorrow, I'm gonna make a Google Doc that's gonna be the script for
Or video.
the Patreon video.
Oh, okay.
I have some ideas.
Yeah, I can tweak. I'm not really an ideas guy anymore,
Right.
but I can tweak.
Did you
Are you not?
Did you hear our idea?
We got to do it Billy May style.
Yeah.
We need a boards and swords polo. I gotta have the proper.
We
You
have
just-
the capability.
How
now.
about you just wear your U-Haul one, and we'll just give you a sticky note.
There we go.
There you go.
Well, I mean, we have the new logo. You could upload it to Redbubble, and we could buy him a shirt, or he could buy himself a shirt.
And have it in time for to record the video.
When are we recording it?
I was hoping probably like next week sometime.
Maybe if you ordered it
We do it
now.
right now. When will then be now?
Soon.
Yeah. Because ours came pretty fast.
Oh, I remember mine took a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah. I don't
Yours
know.
was first.
I remember when I first started when I made like the hat,
Mm-hmm.
and you sent me the logo, and I uploaded it, and I was like, yes, use every single color that's there. It showed me a preview, and it made some like weird circle spiral covering the entire logo with a little bit of the starburst coming out the one side. But then when I started, I'm like, all right, only use half the colors. Only use this. And then I tweaked. I'm like, finally, just use these 3 colors.
Oh, that's true. I could also not use Redbubble and go straight to like Vistaprint
Mm-hmm.
and probably have it a lot faster.
They do.
Oh, is that
shirts.
who they go through?
No, but I'm saying
Like
like
Vistaprint shirts, because that's where I got my hat.
That's cool.
lesser quality but faster service. Or would just get you a hat.
Get a hat. I'm a guy in a hat. Yeah,
Hey,
Jason
Keith's
Mraz.
here.
Yay, Keith.
Hey, Keith.
Well, now we can start the show.
All
All right, yeah.
right.
That's what we were waiting for.
We were waiting for someone to watch, and then we don't want to just stand around and talk to each other.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Are y'all ready?
I'm down.
Contenders ready.
Dodgeball.
Gladiator ready.
I I saw that in Chloe's school. They had a sign that said, "Don't forget the 5 Ds of dodgeball: dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge." All right. Start in 3, 2, 1. This podcast is sponsored by Easy Roller Dice. Go check out their awesome gaming accessories, such as dice and other cool, neat little accessory thingies at easyrollerdice.com. Live from Swordplay Studios, it's time for Boards and Swords.
Boo.
Get out.
Just kidding. I'm happy to be here.
I need an eject button. The door opens up, and just the chair just goes.
I am the one right there, so it would make sense.
I just need the little board like Dr. Evil
Dr.
that's got
Evil, yeah.
each one of your names on it.
Oh, yeah.
Huh. Fun.
Or
I'm
just
just very
more like-
badly burned.
More like Futurama, where you're like, hit the retaliate button. They all retaliate.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Boards and Swords. This is a podcast where we have fun talking about board games.
Yeah.
Woo.
How's it going, Colin? I'm Chris Renshaw. I'm one of your hosts. I'm going to send it Colin.
And I'm Colin, the person who was being talked to.
I'm Cindy.
And I'm your local distraction, Philip.
Oh, my gosh. Quick, look away.
The hair. That's not there.
Oh, is my hair out?
There's hair. It's just it went south for the winter.
That's right.
Oh, I like that. Instead of it because we've called it migrating hair, but I like that. That's
Yeah,
migrating.
my
too.
hair went
Never
south
mind.
for the winter.
You got your hair cut on the head hair.
Guys, it's just us. We had like 2
Goodbye.
episodes of guests, so
That's right. It's so
word
weird.
got around, and suddenly people don't want to get booked.
There's so much.
I know.
Space on
Yeah,
the
there's so
screen.
much space on the screen
Yeah,
for activities.
yeah. Speaking of activities, at the time of this recording, Dice Tower West is about to start,
Yep.
Yeah.
and then next week is Gamma Trade Show.
Yep.
So by the time you're listening to this, most likely everybody but Keith in the chat room, then all these cool new games have been announced.
Yeah.
Oh, from Gamma. Yeah. I'm like Dice Tower West. I don't think they'll announce anything there.
You might. Actually, I saw something that Rob Davia was supposed to be announcing something really soon.
I don't know. He's going to be there though.
Then maybe it'll be there.
Yeah, Dice Tower Con, everyone was like harassing him about Death May Die.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like someone dropped off like the copy, the prototype copy, and it's like, oh great, everyone's asking me questions now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should be in the same room as Rob Davia for a while.
Oh.
We'll get into that later.
Uh-oh.
But first, we have sort of some news.
Sort of.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? You're not going to play your other one?
Well, it's not on the board. You didn't save it.
You didn't save it.
It's
Oh
not
my
my job to
gosh.
save. I closed the computer.
Now.
Calm down,
now.
boys. Calm
Girls,
down.
you're both
Oh,
pretty.
all right. So why don't you just remake it or like redo it right now?
There's just no
That was-
music behind
It was
it.
close enough. It was
That's
good
close
enough.
Anyways,
Anyways, so I had a very busy week, a lot of personal and family stuff going on. So not a whole lot of joke news, but lucky for me, the ICV2 sales numbers came in,
all right.
and I like talking about those.
Cop out.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I actually really like this. It's pretty cool.
So here we go. Now
Call
that
it a
it,
backup
I'm
plan.
excited.
it's my fail. They always happen at the best time.
Yeah.
And of course, when I closed my iPad, it closed the file. So that
Of course.
yeah. So as
Yay,
I
technology.
yep.
At least we can cut the silence.
Yep.
Start playing with buttons. Start playing with buttons.
Okay. I was trying to add the thing back to the board.
Seriously, like I had it open to the page and closed it. I was like, cool. It's saved. There we go. Yeah, so I like there's a whole bunch of stuff on here that's like really interesting information about the board game business stuff.
Mhm.
Really interesting to see kind of like everyone's kind of like It's funny hearing a lot of businesses. They like feel like they're like getting antsy. I just used to like them maybe 5 times.
I heard
50
that.
times.
The counter's going off the charts.
I know. A lot of people are getting worried that the board game bubble's going to burst.
Yeah, I've seen that a bunch.
But it's people are starting to get like that. Even though like the title of the article was "Hobby Continues Decade-Long Period of Growth." So I'm going to start with an easy one, and basically I'm just going to tell you that for top collectible games, just because this is the category I was curious the most about.
Mm-hmm.
Keyforge.
Keyforge.
Yeah.
Yep. We have, of course, Magic the Gathering number 1, Pokemon at number 2, Yu-Gi-Oh at number 3, and then Keyforge slides in at number 4.
Wow.
Hey, the new hotness.
That's only one season or one quarter, right? Because that was
Yeah,
the first,
this is for
that was
fall.
when it was released.
These is for fall, so I have a feeling this
Yeah.
is only if they're using actual definitions of fall, then this is a month and a half of sales for Keyforge.
Oh my gosh! I bet you by winter it's gonna jump up even further.
I don't know, because I even mentioned in the article that the only thing that's probably keeping it from breaking into the top 3 is the fact it's not available in mass stores.
Oh.
The top 3, Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh, you can go to Target, you can
That's
go to
true.
Walmart, and you can get them.
That's true.
Which, by the time this episode comes out, I think I'm going to write a blog post article that says ways that Keyforge could beat Magic in the top collectible market, because I have ideas.
Huh.
I think it's possible. Highly unlikely, but possible.
Both Richard Garfield games. I don't
Both
think.
yeah.
I don't think he'd be hurt.
No. But let's go to something people actually care about. Top 5 role-playing games.
All right.
What do you think number 1 is?
Dungeons and Dragons.
You'd be correct. What do you think number 2 is?
I'm gonna go with Genesis.
You'd be close, but no
Okay.
cigar.
Then Star Wars.
Star Wars would be number 3.
Oh, number 3.
Pathfinder in there?
Starfinder comes in at
okay.
number 4.
Okay.
Pathfinder is on its way in between editions right now, so that's
okay.
why it's not on the list.
So we had D&D.
Uh-huh.
We had Pathfinder and
Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go with is Fate in there?
Nope.
Fate's not in there.
Number 5 is Vampire the Masquerade, because they just came out with a new edition.
Yeah.
Number
Something.
2, L5R.
Ah, okay. All right.
Oh.
Which that surprised me. I mean, when you think about it, it's not that surprising because they just launched a new book.
Yeah.
And it's also kind of other than D&D, little bit of a dry period because, like I said, Pathfinder's on its way.
Mm-hmm.
As far as your main books.
Interesting. That's cool.
That'll be interesting to see if that keeps up, though. All right. But anyways, let's go board games.
All right.
Yay!
So, Philip, give me a board game. Top 10 board games.
Top 10 board games.
Hold on. Let me give you a caveat. There is
gotcha.
one new release on this list.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right, what is it
so
then?
Top 10 board
trying to
games.
think.
Scythe.
Scythe is on the list at number 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Cindy.
Catan.
Catan is on the list at number 1.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Catan retakes
Seriously?
its position at number 1.
All right.
Wow.
It
All
makes
right.
sense.
I'm going for a cheap cash grab. Terraforming Mars.
Terraforming Mars is not on the list.
What?
Incorrect.
Ooh.
All right. Philip.
Wow. Swing and a miss.
Any version of Arcadia Quest.
Arcadia Quest is not on the list.
Dang.
Ticket to Ride.
Ticket to Ride is number 3.
Let's go with Pandemic.
Pandemic's number 2.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh.
Those are the top 3. For
All right,
sure.
Philip.
Rising Sun.
Rising Sun is not on the list. Most people back that on Kickstarter.
Yeah. Sagrada.
Sagrada is on the list at number 6.
Nice. Carcassonne?
Carcassonne is not on the list.
Ooh.
Wow.
So much of it.
I will tell you the new board game on here is in this room.
All right. So now we're looking around.
As
not-
I whip around.
It's not rude, is it?
Yeah,
Root is not on the list.
Root's not on the list.
Got a guess, Philip? Remember, there's only one new game.
there's
You
only
still-
one new game. I know, but I'm looking. That's why I was looking
By
like
new, you
Scythe,
mean
Rising
released
Sun,
in
and
fall
like-
2018.
Correct.
Okay.
Actually, there's only one 2018 release on this list.
Vast?
It is a fall. Huh?
Vast.
Vast is not on the list.
Oh, Railroad Inc.
Oh, yeah.
Railroad Inc.
Railroad Inc. is not on the list.
Ah.
I'm saying Azul.
That's a good
Azul is on the list. That's not the 2018
It's not,
one.
because that was 2017.
That is Azul is number 5.
Okay.
Oh.
What's the 2018?
I will say number 4 had a legacy version released this year, but it's not the legacy version. But if they count the legacy version as
Betrayal.
Betrayal is on the list at number 4. I'm wondering if they count Betrayal Legacy as a part of Betrayal. Like, because a lot of times they group families of games. That would probably be why Betrayal's on the list. So technically a release, but that wasn't the 2018 I was talking about.
What the heck is your 2018?
Well, there's the previous number 1 game is still on the list, but not number 1.
I don't remember what that was.
Well, take a gander.
Ice Cool?
No. Look down.
Founders of Gloomhaven.
Founders of Gloomhaven?
Try again.
Millennium Blades?
No.
Look down.
Thrive.
Take off the founders part.
Oh, Gloomhaven!
Number 8 is Gloomhaven.
Okay.
Number 9 you're not going to get is Mysterium.
Wow. I mean, I'm not surprised because it is a good gateway game.
Number 7 is the brand new game.
Oh.
What is it?
Last year, the card game version of this was my number 6 or 7. Top 10.
Arkham Horror?
Yes. Number 7 is Arkham Horror. So you have Catan, Pandemic, Ticket to Ride. I went real fast.
Pandemic.
I said Pandemic. It was just really quick.
I heard Pandemic.
Betrayal, House on the Hill, Azul, Sagrada, Arkham Horror, Gloomhaven, Mysterium, and then Scythe as last.
Wait, so what was the 2018 one?
Arkham Horror.
Oh, because they re-released a version.
3rd edition.
Yes, my bad. I forgot about that. Aw.
See, I heard Catan Pandemic. One game.
All right.
Wouldn't that be something? Disease spreading across the land. You can't use this resource.
You can't use sheep.
All right.
The next 3 turns.
Card and dice games.
Oh, there it is.
Cindy, give me a card or dice game.
Blank mind. I don't know. I'm blanking completely. Card or dice game.
Top 10 card or dice games. Keep in mind what there was last time.
I don't remember. This was a
That's
long
your
time
fault.
ago.
Colin.
Keyforge?
Keyforge is not on the list.
That's
It's in,
under
it's in the
Yes.
collectible games.
L5R.
L5R not on the list.
Role player.
Didn't have a whole lot of releases. Role player not on the list.
It's
But-
not. Oh, okay.
No, not on the list.
It's not Arkham Horror card game, is it?
Arkham Horror card game is on the list at number 8.
Wait, what was that?
Munchkin.
Munchkin not on the list.
What was that spaceship rolling game that you hated?
Spaceship rolling game that I hated?
Yeah, you had to match up the symbols and yell
Space
fire.
Cadets?
and
Space Cadets
Space
Dice
Cadets.
Duel?
Oh,
Yeah, that one.
No.
No, okay, it's a fun game.
I have no idea, Chris.
That's
Just
got
tell
a
us the
particular
list.
audience.
Just-
Wait, hang on. I had one. It's got in my brain now. Let's I would say Sushi Go Party.
No.
Okay.
Just read me the
All
list.
right. So I'm surprised. Number 1 was Code Names.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
That's a party game. I don't
Number
think of it as
2,
a card game.
Well, it's card/dice. Number 2 was Exploding Kittens. Number
Oh,
3 was Dominion.
Right, okay.
Number 4 was Splendor. Number 5 was Super Fight. Number 6, The Mind.
Ah,
So
yeah.
you said blank mind.
I
You just
did.
said mind. You
Yeah, I know. I almost gave her credit.
That's funny.
Number 7 was Star Realms. Number 8, Arkham Horror LCG. Number 9, Boss Monster. That's where I was starting to be like, it kind of on roll. On. By the way, Eric and Bert are in the chat, so hey.
Sup?
And then last but not least, this is I was gonna say this was surprising, but then I thought for a second, this one had an expansion come out that's 7 Wonders.
Oh, yeah, because it had
Armada.
the new Armada expansion.
Right.
Yep, that makes sense.
I was about to be
Which
like,
was
that's
super
that's
popular.
interesting, but then I was like, nope.
Yeah, that expansion was super popular.
Yeah.
Or it still is. Anyway.
Yep.
Cool.
That's
a good list.
that's the top. So now you're gonna write it down. So next time when I ask this,
No.
Yeah, I'm typing it in as we speak.
So, I'm trying. Well, I mean, I really like the Mind, and that was in there. I don't know. It was good. Good games.
number 5 on the collectible card games was Dragon Ball Super.
Oh.
So in a month and a half, it beat Dragon Ball Super, which is not really surprising.
Cool.
It's a thing. All right, so that's the news we had this time. Since well, I'm sure next time we will have a crap ton of news.
Oh, because I was a big hammer. What?
That's funny because right as she said "cuz," you threw that in there.
I timed it perfectly.
Yeah, because we have Gamma next week. So yeah, we'll have lots of news.
Okay, so what are we doing? Thrive first.
We could do your Seafall.
I know, but as
Oh.
I was talking about Thrive, you guys can go ahead and get out the pieces and stuff.
Oh,
that
You
sure,
mean
yeah.
as you're talking about Seafall, we can get.
What'd
out
I
the
say,
pieces-
Scythe?
No, you
Thrive.
said Thrive.
I said no. I think I said.
As you're talking
I think I
about
said Scythe. I
Thrive.
mixed them together.
You're drunk. Go home.
I know.
Everyone heard Thrive but you.
Yeah. Hi, Zach. There's a new guy, Zach, in the chat room. But
Yay.
so you remember that discussion I had last time about points of view and Seafall, and maybe it's not that bad of a game.
Mm-hmm.
Just erase that from your mind. This game is a horrible game. I hate this game now. This game has caused emotional trauma to me now.
I'm
What's
so
the game? What's the game you and I played? I know it wasn't Seafall, but it was a piratey thing.
Oh yeah, Islebound.
Okay, Islebound. Gotcha.
Spyfall.
Spyfall. Yeah, I play Spyfall.
So yeah, we got to the point where it was obvious that Jimmy was going to win because he was 20 points ahead of the rest of us.
Mm.
The rest of us were like 1 to 2 points away from each other, and then Jimmy is like 20 points ahead.
Wow.
And so we decided, like, we're just going to say Jimmy's the winner, and then we're just going to open up all the boxes.
Mm.
Holy crap, I couldn't have played that game for another 10, 15 games, which is what it would have taken
Ooh,
to
goodness.
finish the thing out. Yeah, there's like right when you think, okay, we've seen about everything. Nope, the game just drops like a whole new metagame on you, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And then it has like a M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end that you didn't even see coming.
Wow.
And yeah, oh man.
Just like
I
in
liked your blog on it.
just like in Pandemic, where it turned out you were the virus the entire time.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
so if you don't care about spoilers, I wrote a very long, detailed blog post about it, going into full detail. I was trying to keep this version spoiler free and just saying that
Mm-hmm.
I was so furious when we played one game that I seriously,
Wanted to flip the table.
I almost did flip the table. Like it was one of those like I got up and walked away because it was
Mm.
It made you that angry.
It made me that angry.
Hmm.
And I said this on Facebook. I specifically, because Jimmy's the one that caused it. And I was like, I'm not mad at you because you just took advantage of a broken system. It's like, I'm angry, but not at you. I'm angry at what you did, but that's not your fault.
You were a conduit.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's right.
I will say we were saw Jimmy and Corey, and they were telling us how your ship like sunk or something.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know. And so Jimmy,
That was after I almost flipped
okay.
the table.
And so Jimmy pulled out his bugle and
Oh,
played.
Someone
taps for you.
was like, Jimmy, you should pull out taps and start playing. He's like, I've got that better. And he goes and gets an actual like trumpet and starts playing taps.
Yeah, I just started laughing when Corey told me that.
Yeah, because it was one of those like, well, I can't do anything else in this game, so my ship isn't equipped to do this, so this is the only way I'm going to get any points. So let me try this. Oh, look, I failed. And there goes my ship into the drink.
Oh, it sucks.
Oh, poor Chris. Well, I'm glad it's over for you.
Oh, yeah.
Never again.
I still think I want to frame it just so I can, like, punch it every now and then or something. I don't know.
Yeah, put it on like a dartboard.
Yeah,
There you go.
There we go. Yes, I'm gonna throw darts at it.
Nice.
It's perfect.
Rob's face right in the middle.
That was where I made the. That was where I made the joke that I may not be able to be in a room with Rob Davio for a while.
Oh, poor guy. Anyway.
Okay, so Thrive.
Oh yeah, so we a little while back heard something about an abstract game that's going to be going to Kickstarter soon, and Cindy was kind enough to tag me in it. I said, "Hey, we'll try it out," and it is a game called.
We'll try anything.
Yeah. So.
Well, not anything.
So he sent us a prototype copy. It's got 3D printed components, and so it's all
It's a prototype.
yeah.
It's a nice prototype, though.
But it has a cloth board in it, and the real version is going to come with a cloth board. I think it's going to be probably a different fabric than what this is.
Mhm.
yeah.
But you can see it's a very pretty image of like a koi pond. And in this game, you can see there's a grid on here. Think of it like chess.
Reminds me more like Suro.
I get that. But
You're not.
has
building
anyone at
it,
this
though.
table played Onitama?
Yes.
Right, you played it with me.
Yes.
It's sort of in that same vein as chess or Onitama, except in this one, you are designing your own moves.
Oh.
So each person has 6 of these lotus Loti?
Lotus.
What's
Lo-
the plural of lotus?
Lotuses.
I don't know. Lotus.
I know cactus
think
is
the-
cacti. Fungus is fungi.
I think lotuses.
I don't know.
I think it's one of those, the plural and the singular are the same word.
Everyone
think it
has
is,
6
too.
lotus flowers.
Yeah, I think lotus blossoms is
There you go.
usually the way it goes.
So,
And they're nice square cubes.
and they have
basically.
these 5x5 grids on them of peg holes. And each person starts with one in the middle, and one is directly in front of that, and it tells you how you can move. So at the start of the game, every piece can move one forward.
Okay.
You'll choose one of your pieces, move it to an acceptable location that says where you can move,
With
and
your
then
by your pegs.
you add 2 pegs to any of your pieces. They can be the same piece or 2 different pieces. And so
So
you
does each piece have a separate one of those?
What?
separate one of those. What do you mean?
The little holder things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that what you're...
That's what I'm saying. So like each piece has a separate little movement dictator
Yes.
thingy.
Yeah.
So yeah, you add these pegs to... You're totally distracting me, Philip. Can you take that off?
I'm sorry.
I prefer the glare of your head to that sitting on top of it. You
Okay.
just seem like a Maid Marian.
Oh my
So-
gosh.
Can I be the chicken?
No,
I can't be the chicken.
no. You have
Chicken's
to be.
tough, man.
I know. That's why you're not the chicken. So anyway, getting back to this. So
Can you put up the please stand by screen?
technical difficulties. So you move one of your pieces and you add 2 pegs to any of your other pieces, and your objective is to eliminate your opponent's pieces. Like get them down to 1 piece and you win.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to get all of them
Did
off
we
the
talk
board.
about who makes this game, by the way?
This is from a company called Adam's Apple Games.
Okay. Sorry. Just making sure we...
Yeah. I forgot. I just got so excited.
Mm-hmm.
You're terrible at this.
I was trying to do that.
It's not meant to do that. So we have. Where am I in this game?
You were talking about adding...
How you move.
You add the pieces on there to make a move.
I've
Yeah.
said that like 10 times so far.
Okay, so what about...
Do
how
you understand that rule?
Yes,
Then you
yes.
understand the whole game.
Okay.
There is not too many rules to this game, and I love
I know.
it.
The actual rules.
So is it you
It's
win
so
if you take
small.
over the other person's pieces?
You land on one of their pieces. It's eliminated from the board, and your objective is to get them down to having only 1 piece on the board.
So it's basically Onitama, but you can make up your own moves.
Yes.
Yes, except Onitama, it's either your master or getting into the other person's backspace.
Oh, right.
So it's
right,
different objective, and there's a secondary objective in this.
right. Or so I guess it's more like chess with customizable pieces.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a blend between chess and Onitama and being able to customize your own moves. But what's really neat about this, there's a secondary objective that if you and your opponent get down to 2 pieces and you fill up one of your pieces with pegs, that's another way to win.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense because at that point it'd be kind of hard to get within range to kill that piece.
Oh yeah, because that other piece would just be able to get you first.
But I did that today in one of the games I played. I
Nice.
played with 2 of my coworkers today, and one of them he was really thoughtful about his turns and just like, okay, you're actually putting up a good fight. But then like the bullets started flying because we were like all within range of each other, and it was like boom, boom. But
Hey,
even
hey! You had no guns at work, man.
so but the nice thing is like you can get in position and say, okay, I'm gonna take out this piece, and then they're like, yeah, I can't do anything to stop you from taking that piece, but I can incentivize you to not take that piece because like they move one of their pieces and then they put pegs in like a neighboring piece to say, if you take this piece, you guys gone now.
So, question, because you just mentioned you played it with 2 of your coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
Is this more than a 2-player game?
He played it a few times today.
Yeah,
Well, that's
it's
why
a-
I'm asking.
It's a 2-player game.
It's a 2-player game.
But
Okay.
they are developing rules for a 4-player version.
A team game.
I don't know if it's team. They just
Oh,
said
okay.
4-player.
That's awesome.
And also a solo variant.
Oh.
And in the Kickstarter, if you are to back it, the Kickstarter's live right now. It went
It
live
started
yesterday.
March 5th.
Yeah. Yesterday is March 5th. And they are including in the pledge a expansion of sorts that sort of incorporates an Onitama type thing. It gives you special powers that you will cycle across the table.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool game. Like, I'm not huge on abstracts, but I enjoyed this one a lot. Like, I would play this anytime over Onitama. Not that Onitama's bad, but
It was really neat. When I was showing it off, I was playing with someone. Another person walked by, and I basically taught him the game, like as I was like
yeah,
making my move.
it's so simple.
And he's like, oh. And the other person I was playing with, she's not super great at games, and so he's like, why don't you move there? Like he was already into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really cool about it.
Yeah, it's beautiful too. Like that fabric board, and I know that these pieces are just 3D printed prototypes, but even still, there's so much detail on them, like on the sides and the tops, and it's really nice. I can only imagine how great the actual true production quality is going to be.
Yeah, it's a really, I think it's going to be a good one to have around.
Yeah, I agree.
A good replacement for chess.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, we're definitely backing this on Kickstarter for sure.
Yeah, I'm already jumped on it. So
Mhm.
Cool.
and it is funded. It's working towards stretch goals now of
Yay.
improving stuff. It's good. Good
Yep.
stuff.
Cool.
So Thrive by Adam's Apple Games.
How
Mhm.
will the Kickstarter will still be? Is it a month-long Kickstarter?
It is. I think it has 26 days left.
Okay. So by the time this episode releases, you'll have about a week and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just stuff to keep in mind. As a general rule, and this has nothing to do with this. This is not any reference. This is just an overall, because people sometimes send me questions about it, and I have to blanket statement. I will not preview games.
Mm-hmm.
I have to have finalized components.
Mm-hmm.
Because
well, you're a components guy.
I'm a components guy.
Yeah.
So even if it's not 100%, that will affect my opinion of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's not something that Colin and I ever
Yeah.
really. I mean, sure.
I've
Components
seen your
are
games.
nice,
I know
but-
this to be true.
Oh! Well, dude, I mean,
Shots
some of your
fired.
games I think are not very great looking either, so there.
You can say they're not great looking, but the components are fantastic. They just may not be to your liking.
Okay, whatever.
What's this terraforming Mars you got back here?
Notice I upgraded the components.
Yes.
If a game doesn't have good components, I upgrade them.
Anyway.
Recessed player boards. If you're gonna
Mhm.
have some little thing that needs
Yeah.
to move around, make it so it don't move around.
Or
Yeah.
a peg.
A peg.
A board and a peg.
Yeah.
That's why I thought, so, big beef.
Cracker Barrel's got 100 of them.
No,
you just
no,
get a 2x4
Yeah,
and
I
a bunch
know,
of
right?
golf.
For the longest time,
Please.
I've said that X-Wing needs to have a peg system for, like, you have all those status tokens.
Yes.
Instead of having them just out on the board, like, oh, I moved this guy, I got to move this token with it. Of course, it's Fantasy Flight cardboard tokens. What am I talking about? But, like, if
Exactly.
you had a little peg that you could sit, like, oh, the red means you got a target lock on this guy. The yellow one means you've got, stress or whatever.
Yep.
That's what 3D printers are for.
Yeah.
What you got,
Anyways,
Chris?
speaking of components, that was a very good. I didn't plan for that, but that was a good segue into talking about. Speaking of Gloomhaven, I have here the next game from Isaac Childress and Cephalofair Games, founders of Gloomhaven, which I'm actually I'm surprised and I'm not surprised that this game kind of came and went, just no buzz. Like
Mhm.
when it came out, everyone was excited, and then you just didn't hear a lot of anything about it.
That's kind of true.
Ideally, I think it's because coming off of Gloomhaven, everyone was expecting another Gloomhaven, and this is nothing like Gloomhaven.
And it was advertised as not being.
It was
like Gloomhaven.
advertised, but I think it's still like everyone's mindset
Yeah.
was still, if they just heard that this is Founders of, I
This-
guess because if it was just Founders, it didn't have the word Gloomhaven in the name.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could literally, the game could still be about building Gloomhaven if you had just called it Founders instead. I think it might have gotten a different mind frame around people. Just the fact it
Okay.
has of Gloomhaven in the name
Yeah.
makes you think it's like a sequel, when in fact it's a prequel.
Oh, true. Yeah.
So in this game, this is unlike where I've never played Gloomhaven. So unlike what I assumed, it's more of the Gloomhaven's like a legacy adventure-ish sort of game, legacy-ish campaign style.
Mm-hmm.
This is a pure Euro. And for me, I consider this to be this is more of a heavier, for me, Euro. Someone that plays a lot of Euros may be like, this is kind of medium-ish. But this is about as heavy as I want a Euro to be.
I felt the weight.
Yeah, I did too.
I could definitely see all the avenues you need to think about.
Yeah.
So in this game, you have a board that's gridded off, and you are basically building the city. And
Right.
there's different rules that go about and like where you can put buildings and structures. But the biggest thing is that when you build the city, you build these resources that get used for making bigger resources and then bigger buildings. And you can buy, everyone has specific resources that they have, and you can buy access to other people's to be able to make the more advanced resources. So it kind of forces cooperation a little bit ish, even though it's a competitive style game.
Yeah.
And that
Yep.
you have to have the other people's resources in order to progress up further. There's a tech tree ish sort of thing.
Mhm.
And basically, you're just kind of hand management. That's the word I was looking for. There's a hand management thing where all your actions are cards, and you play cards to do actions, and you just keep going around and around until 6 of these prestige buildings get built and completed. That's as basic as I could. I'm kind of stunned because Ember Celica just posted news that I didn't know about yet.
Okay.
So Modifius is making a Fallout tabletop role-playing game?
Yeah.
Did not know that. I knew they made the minis. Sorry, this was big news to me, so I had to get sidetracked. Did not know they were making an RPG.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
That's
I've
what
never talked about that.
You talk about stuff?
I didn't think the RPG got announced. I thought the minis did. The minis game did.
Yeah.
I knew about that. I
Oh.
did not know no RPG was coming out.
Oh, I swore I talked about that
Oh.
once.
Anyways, back to Founders. That's about as brief as I can without getting into really, really crunchy rules.
Mm-hmm.
Did I forget anything big?
The main thing that I thought was really interesting about this that you didn't talk about is all the roads.
Right.
It's a small thing. You're adding roads because you need to connect everything.
Oh,
And-
so yeah, going along with that, I will say
Mhm.
that one of the cool things is that it does have that same aspect that Rising Sun and I've heard Puerto Rico, where when someone does an action, everybody can either follow that action and do a
Mhm.
very similar
Yes.
but weaker version of that action,
Yep.
Mhm.
or everybody can do one of these basic actions, which is like get money or build a road,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
which you need roads to connect to different things. You need your buildings to be connected to be able to build higher buildings.
And I think that's what adds a lot of the complexity weight to me is
Right.
you not only do you have what was just presented to you by another player, you have this stock set of things you can do on every turn.
Yeah.
Unlike Puerto Rico, where it's just you do what the other person.
But I
does,
kind of
too.
like it because it's like, man, I need like one more money to do the thing on my turn, and then you do
Yeah.
something. I could just grab that. I got 2 turns. I could just grab money.
Yeah, and that was my final turn. I was set up for that.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
'cause
yeah, you
Cindy did
were.
something. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a money, and now I have exactly what I need to
Right.
end the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I lost by 1 point.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty close, but you
I
were
was so far
kind
behind.
of worried because like I kind of shot up at the beginning
Mm-hmm.
and then slowed down.
Yeah, both of you were like, Cindy was like sitting at 7. You were like 10, 11,
Well,
12
even after
points.
you caught up, you finally got onto the board.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I kind of continued to shoot up in points. And then I kind of just didn't for a while
Yeah.
as you guys caught back up.
I just kept not though.
Yeah.
I was like 13 points at the end of the game.
It was still not that far behind. I don't think you had 13 total. I
I
think
don't
you
know,
were
it
like
was
13
low.
behind us.
No, I'm gonna look this
I think
up.
the scores were like you had like 22. I had 21 or
Oh, well,
something.
then maybe she did have 13.
I
Okay.
was low.
So, all right.
Oh, I had 18.
So, Cindy, I'm curious because I got the impression when we were playing the game that you didn't like this game.
I wasn't enjoying myself.
Yeah, I could just tell. I was like, I
I
don't think Cindy's enjoying this
I
game.
feel like part of it is that it just took a while. And I don't know, it just didn't seem
The ramp
I
up
don't
wasn't as
know.
fast as you were
yeah,
thinking it should
like
be.
and I don't know if it was just I was having an off day and so I just wasn't quite like thinking about it the way I needed to be.
Mhm.
But it just, I for a while, it was like, this just doesn't really make sense. Like, it was, and I play like Euros, mid-weight Euros, so it's not like this is anything new. It was just, I don't know, I think I was just having an off day because I just couldn't grasp, like, okay, I need this building and this building to build this building and this and that. And it was just like, this is too much. I don't want to think about this. Like, I don't know.
It is weird that it you said it took a while, but it did end really abruptly.
It did, yeah.
It has one of those
And I
where
was
it
very
builds up and
grateful.
builds up and then just like, poof, we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we had like 3 different buildings on the board that I think I did 2.
Yeah.
But like they were just sitting there, and we got the final piece of the puzzle that knocked them out, and that's
Because that's the way is you have things kind of all over the board, and as soon as something connects it, things will auto-complete.
Yeah. And I mean, I eventually did like grasp how it worked, like
Right.
that, because I was the one saying, "Hey, Colin, if you do this, if you build this, then this and this will get completed." And I mean, you'd already known that.
I think he already knew that.
He
Yeah.
did. But that.
Although
to
there was that one
me-
time it's like, oh, wait, we completed that building. We didn't even know.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like maybe my starting resources that I had just kind of held me back a little bit. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I was just like, whatever.
All right, what about you, Colin? Because you were into the game, at least it felt that way more when
Yeah.
you were in the game.
I did enjoy it, but there's a couple of I said this while we were playing. Is like there's a couple of little rules,
Right.
like, and there's one thing I don't like. It's little rules, like things that
Oh, yeah.
they don't stand out as something. Oh yeah, when you do this,
Would
this
you call those
tiny thing."
fiddly rules?
Sure, yeah. Not quite fiddly because you're not really. It's an exception or something like
Yeah.
that. And this one had like those exceptions. I can't remember them right now, but that's how memorable they were.
Oh, you're talking about like where you can't place your buildings. You can't place them adjacent to other buildings. You have to be separated by a road, but you can place them next to other people's buildings.
And it was like the resources that feed into a building that you're putting on have to, like, they can't just be connecting it with the building in between. They have to connect otherwise.
Well, that was just more of saying is the building itself isn't connection.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be connected by roads.
Exactly. But that's not really what I'm talking about. Like I said, I can't think of what they were right now. But this definitely seems like it seems like that would be good on like a player aid.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember if there was a player aid.
I don't think there was.
But yeah, like
But it could have been on the board. And it's possible if we had flipped it. I haven't played the other side of the boards. Because the side we were playing with the workers is technically like the more advanced.
that's right.
I don't
it
mind
was-
worker placement.
It was more
like it.
asymmetrical.
Yeah, because
The
basically.
thematic board. I just read through the directions. There's the thematic side, and then there's the symmetric side.
Yeah, the thematic side's the
Yeah.
one we played on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where everybody gets a unique power, basically.
I feel like the worker placement aspect of it, though, like, is just kind of like an add-on.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't get any workers the whole game.
Because, yeah, I mean, it's,
And
it's
the-
not like
all the
you
times
start
I've
with
played,
workers. You
The
have
worker
to,
placement is kind of like a minute thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that kind of disappointed me because I really like worker placement games, and so I was like, I want to do more with this. But my power that I would use my worker for, it wasn't. I don't know. It was hard for me because it was about like buy cards
Mm-hmm.
for basically zero cost, and it seemed like all the cards that were coming out, I couldn't purchase because I didn't have any sort of stock in those resources.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, I can't really use this, and it was disappointing.
Yeah, that was something I think I got wrong the first couple times I played this. Is I think that you can upgrade your basic action cards by getting more specialized cards, and I think we were just buying them
Mm-hmm.
and actually you can only buy ones if you have access to specific resources.
Yeah.
You can get specific cards.
Yeah, we got that
Yeah.
right in our game.
We
Yes,
did.
we did.
yeah.
But then we mixed. You accidentally shuffled
Yeah, I
all
accidentally
the cards together.
shuffled.
It's like,
So the labeled 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I saw that one.
I shuffled them all together, or I had Sydney shuffle them all together and didn't think. And I was
Ah.
like, man, we can't buy any of these. Wait a minute.
Colin can buy one because he has the.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, because I was like, how are you supposed to? Oh yeah, they were tiered.
Yeah. And which when we reshuffled them or
Yeah.
shuffled them
It's
properly,
like,
it was
oh,
nice.
okay, now I can buy
It
things.
was like when I went to buy on like my second turn. It was like when we realized it, so
Yeah.
it wasn't a
Right.
big deal.
No, it wasn't that far into the game. But
So
The one thing I will say I did like was that you got the broken token insert.
I was getting to that. But yes, I will say. So the first times we played this, not having the insert is terrible because like at least when I had it, all the buildings were just kind of in a pile.
Mm.
Oh, that's so difficult.
And it was like trying to like because they're all like polyomino shaped
Mm-hmm.
to be like different sizes on the board, which is
Mhm.
kind of neat.
It is
But it's like, okay, it's an L shape. I got to look through the pile for like an L. And like what it got to the point like when somebody wasn't going, somebody would be like sorting through the buildings. But
based
even
on the ones that were the cards that were out at that
Right.
round.
we would be like we would be looking for the buildings that could get built and be putting them on the cards as they came out.
That's
But the
cool.
broken token insert, like it was worth it just for that one board that just
Oh,
has
yeah.
all the tiles laid out. Like
It
the
was
player,
so nice.
like the player thing, the ones that all your meeples go in and stuff. That's whatever.
That
and-
was cool, but
I mean,
yeah,
it's cool, but like
it's not necessary.
that would not be worth it.
Mhm.
If it was just that and the card organizer, not worth it. It's worth it for that one tray.
Well, and even
That just
the one
or the
for
two trays. Sorry,
yeah,
two
the other
trays.
building one
The
too.
two building trays make this. But I will say this was also a little bit tougher of a broken token build than before.
Really?
Mainly because so they have the etching for the shapes, and then they have a backer board that has them stenciled in.
Oh yeah.
And I
Mhm.
So you
don't
know
know
where to
if
put it.
mine was reversed from the instructions or if I just didn't pay attention right. I thought I paid attention pretty good as to how they lined up, but like I had to do it one or two times to get the orientation right. And I still
Oh.
don't think it's 100%. It was good and it worked, but it like there was two on two sides that like I think mine may have gotten misprinted. Like these two were supposed to be on this side instead of over here.
Mm.
Huh.
It all worked out, but it threw me off a little bit when I was building it.
Okay.
I took a video of me doing it, so you'll see me like fumbling around with this.
Aw.
So yes, but I like this game.
Good.
Mainly, like I said, because it's beautiful. The game is just beautiful. Like if you strip the art, if this was like generic like Rio Grande game
Mm-hmm.
quality, no interest in it at all. There's nothing about the components and the gameplay of the game that's super like drawing you in, and that probably is why I got a little bit of a mellow reception because it's not great.
Okay.
It's good. It's not great.
Mm.
But it's beautiful, and that puts it over the top for me.
The color palette of the board alone is
Yeah.
pretty. It's really pretty.
I think
Like
it's
all the cards are pretty. To me, all the cards are pretty. The components, without the broken token stuff, are well done. It's just it. It's a little bit more of an expensive game, and it shows. Like I can see where the money's going in this game because I think its MSRP is like $70.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
Ooh, yeah,
Yeah,
it's up there.
that's also it's also kind of rough if you throw the broken token insert on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But not require, especially if you could like organize it yourself.
oh,
There's
yeah,
probably
yeah.
a good way with like baggies,
Mhm.
but the broken token organizer is definitely nice.
yeah.
Definitely helps the gameplay, especially if you kickstarted this. So like you paid for it and it's already now it's come and it's been like a year later. Now you've got the money in your budget. You can go buy it.
Get the
Yeah.
desert.
Yeah, I would
Um,
definitely recommend the. broken
Although
token.
I forgot the acrylic screen on the tech tree.
Oh,
That
right,
was
yeah.
nice. So the broken token insert comes with an acrylic screen that lays over the tech
Oh,
tree, so
yeah.
that because the whole bumping the components
Yep.
thing, this makes it little indents
I
for
saw
all
the,
the.
I saw the
That was
squares
really
on the tray.
nice.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was like, okay.
I forgot about that.
That was
a-
really
That
nice.
was a very good addition. So all in all, you know what? I don't know if you would like this game
No?
because you are kind of. I don't know if there's anything overly Philip-esque about this, so I can't tell for certain if you will. You probably will. This would be a one you'd have to play.
There was I was reading through the thematic side, and it said you can aggressively stop people from doing things.
Yes and no.
You can
Like-
place a building in the way.
Yeah.
Is pretty much what you can do.
Okay.
But there's not too many buildings that get placed on the board.
And you just build around. Like the only thing that the first time I played this, somebody was like being an Uber Philip, and this was like a two fills move.
Oh, they were
Uh,
two fills.
This so you remember how I said you have to buy access to other people's resources to be able to build higher resources?
Yeah.
Well, he just didn't build his second resource. So not only did it cripple him because that affects your money,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because how many different
Yeah.
resources is how much money you get.
Okay.
So he crippled himself, but it impacted the entire game because there was one whole section of the tech tree we just couldn't do.
Right. Yeah, that's miserable.
And he did it on purpose. And I was just like, just build it. Build the thing. Because you can't like turn down people. Like people give you, that's the cool part though, is they give you the money when they buy access to it. It doesn't go to the bank.
Oh, okay.
So the money comes to you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So there, this would be one you'd have to play.
Okay.
Also, I will note, I wonder if the gameplay was also hampered by the fact we were playing 3-player. I think this is a 4-player must game
Mm.
because we played 4 players, and you don't have all that weirdness with the neutral resources.
Yeah, that was
There
it
were some-
wasn't intuitive with the symbology on
that
the card.
that brought in some of the
Oh, yeah, with the
that brought in
scoring
some
and
of the
everything.
weird little rules you were talking
Yeah.
about, because
Yes,
it's like
for
you
scoring.
technically don't own that, but you're buying access and putting it out on the board.
And yeah, once you pointed it out, I'm like, oh, that's what that means.
Yeah.
And it's not apparent on the card, but yeah.
The first time I played it, we played 4-player, and I didn't have nearly as much of problems as we did when we were playing through of it.
Mhm.
And the gameplay experience seemed a lot more streamlined because you've got 4 people's turns that you can do stuff while you're, or 3 other people's turns you can do basic actions and stuff.
Mm.
You got also 4 people voting. You got 4 people potentially calling to vote, so you can get more money because you only get. So there's the last card that lets you pick up all your cards is a call to vote, and that's where you vote on which next prestige building's coming out.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
When you play it, everybody else gets money.
Ah.
You get like benefits on like basically it's like a push your luck almost. It's like the longer you wait, the less money you'll get because for every card in your hand, you get extra money and stuff when you play your call to vote.
Well,
Okay.
Kind of resources, not necessarily money.
Well, you
Money
could.
is one of the things you can
money
do.
is one of the yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Money and like power in your
Influence.
voting.
Right.
Influence.
But then like so if you've got more people that could potentially play it, you got more chances for money coming out.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so we may have to get you to play this at some point. Don't know when, but because we got to find at least one other person because Cindy's not going to play this again.
I don't know.
It just
It
you
took
were
too long.
you brought up the broken token insert. I wonder if there is any game that anyone's played that they have a broken token insert for that they just go, take it or leave it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The game or the insert?
The insert.
Oh, okay.
It's like because you were saying like I never played Terraforming Mars without the
Yeah.
insert, but you were saying like the insert is a must.
Yeah.
All right. I wonder if there are any games out there where it's like, I got this insert. I could have not bought it.
Could you have done that with code names?
I could have. Yeah, maybe.
Because like we have duet
just
and
decks
regular
of
code
cards.
names
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
one box.
And it's the ones that fit in the smaller LCG boxes. You could take it or leave it on those.
Okay.
I like the way they organize them, but I've seen a lot of people just put them into binders.
Mm-hmm.
Just put the cards into binders. So
Hmm.
that's probably the more generic inserts. Probably that way.
Okay.
Mm.
Gotcha.
The game specific ones, I find it really does help. But it's also a luxury thing, so it's one of those
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Usually, it's got to be for like if I'm buying one for a game, then it's a game that I play a lot. Like I bought the Scythe one.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Scythe is one that could be a take it or leave it on the base game.
Okay.
When you get
With the-
everything else, it's kind of needed or it's
Yep.
necessary. But the base game, you could take it or leave it because the base game,
Because
there's plenty of room in the box and it's not doing anything for actual gameplay.
okay, yeah. I was gonna say because the player boards are already indented.
yeah.
So that's
So, Ghost of the Moor.
Yeah. So Ghost of the Moor is from TMG. It's a Kramer and Kiesling game, and it's a roll and move, of all things. It's a modern day roll and move.
You roll a dice and you move people.
Yeah. So basically, the the game takes place at a little like swamp area, and you have this little board. I mean, it's so compact. This game is so tiny. Like,
We played it on an airplane.
we did. We played it on airplane, and it fit perfectly on a tray table. Like, it was awesome. But yeah, you have this tiny little board.
Which tells you
And-
it gets through TSA. So I mean, that's good.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, there's this tiny little board, and it's got spots on it for different like treasure tokens. And
Sorry, with there being artwork on the back, it's just like a really tiny DM screen. That's all it is.
kind of, yeah, except for it doesn't fold the right way. But yeah, and so like on the board, there's different tokens, and you're rolling a die, and you depending on player count depends on how many pieces adventurers you have. But you're trying to just move your adventurers from the looks like a house in the swamp to the Jeep. You're basically just trying to get out of the swamp. But throughout the swamp, you're going to be collecting treasures, and there's a little bit of a set collection aspect to it. Well, it's not a little bit. There is a set collection aspect to it, where at the end of the game, the number of the same type of resource, like treasures that you've collected, scores you different points, and it get exponentially larger based on how many of each one you have. And you can also collect ghosts as you're going through, but the ghosts are negative points, so you don't want them. But having them is not necessarily a bad thing, because as you're going through the swamp, the way you get a treasure is when you leave a space where no other adventurer is. If there's a treasure on that spot, you collect it. But if you enter a space where there is no treasure,
like the last half of the board, the last probably
quarter,
like 10.
it's a third of a board.
Yeah, like the last third of the board doesn't have spaces.
Yeah, it's broken into like thirds.
At least at the
basically.
beginning of the game, it doesn't have any.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so when you leave a space that has no treasure on it, you have to give up a treasure. And there's symbols on the board depicting the different types of treasures. And whatever symbol you're on, that's the type of treasure you have to give up. However, if you don't have any of that kind, you have to give up 2 other treasures or 1 ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a good way. Sometimes it's nice to have ghosts, because when you have to give up something, you can actually plan to land on a spot where you don't have a treasure of that kind. So then when you leave it, you can give up a ghost.
Drop a ghost.
Yeah.
But you don't have to give up 2 other random things. Or
That was my plan. I was rooting for landing on the bone spaces. Like,
because you had no bones. Yeah.
I had everything else. It was like, crap, I got to root for these bones.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's a very simple game. I mean, there is some depth to the decision making, because it's like, okay, where do I want to land? And do I want to go to a spot with someone? Like, do I want to land on a space with someone else and then leave before they do? Or, do I want to hang out here until they've moved so I can get this treasure? And,
Mm-hmm.
And it's good, but it's simply complex, I guess.
It's nice because even though you roll a die, move a piece, you have options for which piece you're moving.
Yeah. It's not just like one piece. You can choose, okay, little strategy there, like, oh, I think I'm going to hold off on moving that guy because I want to get this guy to this square instead first. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's
An important thing I think to mention is everyone starts off with a bridge token.
oh, yes, the bridge.
And
Thank you.
yeah, so if you go to land in an empty space, you can choose before you actually complete your turn to use your bridge. You put it under that spot. So when you go to move out of that space, it's not empty.
Mhm.
And you can then collect the bridge too. But you can't just move the bridge from spot to spot, because you go and land in your space and then you pick up from that spot.
Right.
Unless you have 2 bridges like I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where my thing is with this. I think it's better probably at the 3 to 4 player count, because
Mhm.
you
More bridges.
still have a good amount of pieces that you're moving, because at 2 players you have 5 pieces, and then at 5 players you have 2 pieces, and it scales in between there. And so at 4 players you have 3 each, 3 you have 4 each, but everyone has a bridge, and there's 1 extra one on the board.
Yeah.
And so there's more of these bridges that are out there available to collect.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I mean, it's not a bad 2-player game, but it is. I do think it is.
one either.
What? No,
Nothing really
I've
excites me.
enjoyed our 2-player games, but I have enjoyed more the 3, 4, 5-player count games.
It's not any better at those player counts either.
Oh, whatever.
Is this a German game?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Moorgeister.
But yeah, it's not claiming to be a complex game, but
No.
it is like we played it after Founders of Gloomhaven, and it was like exactly what we needed for that time of night.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like it's like something that's you're not just droning on, but it's not too complex.
Yeah.
My problem with the game was that felt like I was doing well throughout like the 2/3 of the game, and then the last third of the game just.
It beat you down.
Yeah,
No,
that-
it's not even that. It's just like it was more of like getting my last guy. Like I'd built up all these potential points, and then my last dude, just because of the way, like I wasn't. Because of the mechanic we're having to give up stuff, I ended up like all my tokens went away,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it's not like I was doing pretty good getting them off. It just happened to be that last dude. By the time he goes off, there's not much left except for negative points.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way that the game that you played in, we had Chris play in one of our games. The ghosts ended up on like the last 5 spaces,
Yeah.
and
So
usually there'll be some treasures mingled in there, and there was for like 1 space, but then that went away really fast.
Yeah.
Like my score of this game was 0.
Uh-huh.
Like, and not like I didn't have anything. No, I had points, but I had just as equally as much negative points.
Yeah.
And I had like, if I didn't have any ghosts with me at the end of the game, like I collected like 2 ghosts right at the end that
Mhm.
equaled out 9 points of negative.
And I had no ghosts at the end.
And so, and if I didn't have those, I would have won, but I
Yeah.
collected them right at the end.
Like it
It's-
felt like when I was playing it, in my head, I was like, I don't think there's anything I could have done differently that
So-
would have changed this result. And that's where I was like,
Yeah.
Yep.
It was interesting just that we were I've not seen it where that many ghosts are in a row discarded. Like
Mhm.
it was very strange. Like normally there's more treasures discarded
Yeah,
at the end.
we've played this
We've played it quite a few
several
times now.
times,
Yeah.
and that was a first time experience for that.
I enjoy the game. I do. Like I mean, it's not
It's
like
not going to be everyone's cup of tea.
no, and
No,
it's not
by
my
far.
favorite game in either. Like, but I would definitely pull this out
Yeah,
regularly.
it's worth playing on an airplane.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
absolutely.
Like if you're looking for something to do and you've got nothing else, sure, yeah, pull it
Yeah.
out. And it's a small, easygoing game. Like we taught it to Cindy's parents, and her dad is like AP on every game, so it was no surprise. But they picked up on it, and other than Cindy's mom, like thinking
Not knowing which direction the road
like,
went,
I can't see which way the road goes. Like, everyone can see it, but
or
you.
the path, I guess. Yeah.
Speaking of my family, though, for that same box size,
Mhm.
I tell you what has become a hit, and that is Impact.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's about the same size.
Oh yeah.
I was at home just today and yesterday, and it's become, even like at end of the night, we're all burnt out and tired from just being busy and running around all day. I can just set up. It's just a bowl, and just all it requires is this.
Mhm.
There's no brain power. There's not even a whole lot of thinking. It's just I'm chucking dice into this bowl.
That's good.
Oh, that's
And-
right. That's the dice matching. right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, where like that became like a thing, and we would just sit there for like an hour just playing this, like like all right, one more game, like to the point where I think my mom went today to Barnes and Noble and picked up her own copy,
Aw,
so I don't
Mm.
have to bring it.
that's
Nice.
awesome.
Just because that's become our thing, is like because it's easy, it's quick, and it doesn't take a lot of time, and we could play it a bunch, and it
Mhm.
plays with a lot of different player counts.
Yeah, I get that.
Anyway,
But
so Ghost of the Moor, TMG.
So, before we hand the reins over to Cindy for the game show, we have a contest to announce.
Yay!
So, if you remember, we still have going on the one for the 2 copies of Gorus Maximus, which I think we're going to wait until next episode to
Mhm.
announce the winners for. So that gives
That's
like
a
mo-
Facebook contest.
Yes, that you have to go subscribe, facebook.com/Boards
Boards
and
and Swords
Swords pod, and there's a post on there that you can there. But specifically, since we're sponsored by Easy Roller Dice, we had all these goodies we've been giving away. The box is starting to wear down, but we still have one metal dice set that we need to give away.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to go to somebody that's subscribed to our YouTube channel. So you need to go youtube.com/boards and swords and subscribe there. But in addition to that, between the time that we're actually recording this and the time that it's airing, we're going to be launching a video for our upcoming Patreon.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
And so we just need you to comment on that video. The link will be in the show notes. Just go on to or you could just go to youtube.com/boards and swords and just look for the video that's mentioned.
And make sure you're subscribed.
Yes. So you have to be a subscriber and you have to comment on the video. And in a month's time, so we will, I don't think it'll be exactly the 6th, but when we record, so give me like 1 second to look up when that's going to be.
Sure.
Recording in April.
Yeah, recording in April. So the 3rd.
There it is.
The 3rd. April 3rd is when we're going to pick a winner.
All
Okay.
right.
Or do we want it to be a month from when the episode actually
I would say
drops?
a month from when the episode drops.
Okay, so this is the 17th.
There you
All
go.
right.
You got until April 17th, the tax day. Isn't that tax day?
15th.
15th.
Whatever.
Well-
Close enough.
Hey, they make it the 17th. If the 15th a weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got until April 17th to like and to subscribe and post on there to win a set of awesome metal dice from Easy Roller Dice. They're awesome dice, and if you don't want to wait until then, you got a game going between now and then. Like I can't wait. I gotta have dice.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't afford metal dice. They got acrylic dice. They got metal dice. The acrylic dice are just as pretty. We've given out some of those, and they have been just as beautiful. There's been a couple I've wanted to put in my pockets.
Cindy was mad we gave away that one set.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
yeah, they were
the
gorgeous.
pink set one.
Yep. The Himalayan pink.
The
Yeah.
rainbow ones were pretty nice.
Oh,
The
they
rainbow
were
ones are
awesome.
still over there. I got to give them to. I still have to give them out because there's someone nearby.
Oh.
Cool.
And so, that wasn't worth paying the shipping for. But, anyways,
Are they
if you-
like really close nearby? You're just gonna walk by them in their office and smack them in the head. with
not that close.
it? Boom! Here's your dice.
Not that close. But so if you can't wait until April 17th to find out if you won, easyrollerdice.com. Say thanks to them for sponsoring us. And with that, I'm going to send it over to Cindy.
All right.
Is this going to be points in this?
Yes.
You want to grab on top of Blood Bowl, there is a dice tray.
It's got our coins in them.
Yes.
Cool. All right. So I have adapted the IMDb game that Flip the Table does
Why is this? I'm seeing a trend here.
because they have good ideas and it's hard not to steal.
And
Well,
we don't.
it's hard not to utilize their resources that they've given us. Anyway, so
We're gonna be unique individuals, just like everyone else.
yeah.
If they don't like it, they can produce a podcast where they tell us about it. Oh, wait.
So I thought that it would be fun since we do have our current giveaway for Gorus Maximus going on Facebook, and that's all about like gladiator fighting and stuff. That this would be a gladiator themed IMDb game.
Oh, no.
Okay, so I have 7 games. Yes, Philip.
Russell Crowe or
I
Spark?
think she's-
Gladiator themed.
Oh,
So I
themed. Okay,
have
gotcha.
7 different movies that
Lowercase g gladiator.
Lowercase
theme.
Yes.
G Gladiator.
So,
Gotcha, gotcha.
7 different games or not games, 7 different movies that have something to do with like gladiator style fighting. Or whatever. Anyway, so basically the way this will go, I'll tell you the title of the movie, when it was released, and then I'll give you like a quick little overview of it, and then you guys have to tell me what it is rated
Oh, God.
on IMDb. However, only one person is going to tell me what it's rated, and the other 2 are going to tell me if they're high or low.
Oh, okay.
So if you are
If they think it's higher
if they think
or lower.
if they think the rating is
Star
higher or
rating.
lower than
Okay.
what they said. Yeah. So if you are the person giving the rating and you get it dead on, you get 5 points. That's it. And if you're the people who are saying, I think this rating is higher, I think it's lower, if you're right, you'll get 1 point. And then if the person, they weren't correct, like their rating was wrong, they get a point for every person who was incorrect with their high-low thing.
Gotcha.
Okay?
People in the chat room asking they can play along going higher or lower with us.
Absolutely.
And we'll give out points accordingly.
Yep.
Sweet.
So you can see if you're better than us, basically.
There we go.
Okay.
So we'll have to remember to pause for like 10 seconds.
Well, no. They'll. There's enough of a delay
Okay.
that they just, if they win, they can say we got it better than you guys.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to start. Philip, you're going to tell me a rating first. Okay?
What's the scale, 1 to 10?
1 to 10?
Okay.
It's out of 10.
Okay, it's a star rating.
Yeah.
You were talking about movies, and I was like,
It's not
there's only
R
like
versus
5
PG-13.
ratings.
No.
Like,
No, it's the.
I think it's higher than a
It's-
G rating.
there we go. All right.
No, it's the IMDb
Yeah.
rating. If they guess it correctly, it's
5
points. Okay. So your movie title
Okay.
is Gladiator. This was
Capital G.
this was
Capital
released
G.
in 1992, and it stars
Really?
Yes, and it stars James Marshall
Oh.
and Cuba Gooding Jr. And
Not
and
that
some other
Gladiator
people.
Oh,
movie.
then that's-
I was
Alright,
like, that was
so-
a 92?
I don't want to play anymore.
All right, so this movie,
Are you not entertained?
the quick little synopsis. Tommy Riley has moved with his dad to Chicago from a nice place. He keeps to himself, goes to school. However, after a street fight, he is noticed and quickly falls into the world of illegal underground boxing, where punches can kill.
Nice.
All right,
Ooh.
so some plot.
So is this like pre Cool Runnings or wait, was
I
Cuba
don't know.
Gooding Jr. in
No, he
Cool
was not
Runnings?
he
in
wasn't
that.
in Cool
I don't know why
Runnings.
I'm thinking Snow Dogs.
You're
That's
thinking
why.
Snow
which
Dogs.
was way after this.
Which was
All
way
right,
after.
So some plot keywords. We have boxing,
Okay.
debt,
Yeah.
friendship, boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, and racial tension. What do you think out of 10 the IMDb rating is for this?
3.8.
Okay. Chris? Is he higher? Is it higher or lower than a 3.8?
I statistically want to go higher, but
Or is he dead on?
no way he's dead on. I'm gonna go higher. I'm gonna go on
No way I'm
statistics
dead
on this
on.
one.
Okay, Colin?
I'll stick with higher as well. I've got to have faith in Cuba.
Okay, so the actual rating of this is 6.5.
All right.
So Chris and Colin each get a point. And so
Yay.
does it. I don't know how to pronounce
Angaris.
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 Thank you. All right, so Chris,
Okay.
your movie is called Amazons and Gladiators. This was made in 2001. It stars Patrick Bergen, Jennifer Rubin, Richard Norton, and Nicole Hiltz.
I know
a lot
none
of
those-
last names I recognize.
I don't
I also
know
say I know none of
any
those
of
people.
those.
Alright.
I know
So-
Candace Bergen and Edward Norton.
All right, so
Julia Roberts.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
what?
You said like Julia Hertz or
Oh,
something.
Jennifer Rubin.
Jennifer.
No,
Rubin.
that-
Oh, all right.
Nicole Hiltz.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Paul Rubens.
All right, so a
I
little
know
bit
Reuben
of
sandwiches.
a little bit of a synopsis. A
Reuben
slave
Stuckert.
dancer is freed from her Roman masters by an Amazon warrior and is trained as an Amazon warrior and seeks vengeance on the ambitious, corrupt Roman general who attacked her village and slain her family.
It sounds like the plot to the Wonder Woman movie
No,
almost.
that's what I'm going with.
Some plot keywords are warrior woman, Amazon, Roman Empire, gladiator, and antiquity.
Oh, apparently Richard Norton is a martial artist movie star.
Awesome.
Mm.
Important information.
All right, so Chris, what do you think the
And
IMDb
Garrus, did you
rating
know
is?
that off the top of your head, or did you look it up really quick?
I'm going to make things difficult, and I'm going to say 4.9.
Okay. Colin, is it higher or lower than 4.9?
You know, if this was actually on Flip the Table, I probably would have picked movies that are like so obscure and it's like you don't know if they're good or bad.
Well, that's where
That's
I'm
what
at.
this is.
That's where I'm at.
Well, yeah, this seems like kind of middle. It could be middle of the road. So like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say lower.
Okay. And
Okay.
Philip, what do you say? Higher or lower than 4.9?
I was gonna ask if we could get like, how many ratings are there?
Oh, it does tell. I
Yeah.
didn't look that up.
Okay,
It
does
usually
tell us
It
that,
does
though?
tell
usually
you.
That
Yeah.
is usually an
It
aspect
is,
that they
you're
go
right.
over.
Because
I
it's gonna be
didn't-
like, oh yeah, this movie's rated at 9.7. There's only 4 ratings on it.
I
though.
can look it up real quick if you really want to know.
No. We
Okay.
already started.
No, we already started. I am going to go.
You know for next time.
I am going to go with so this movie is rated. I'm going to say this movie is rated higher.
It is actually lower. It is a 3.1.
Nice.
Mm.
So,
I get 1
Chris
point.
gets 1 and Colin gets 1.
Nice.
And
So does Ingaris.
Ingaris gets 1 as well. So he's at 2 points. Okay. So Colin, your movie is called Cyclops. It's from 2008. All right. It stars Eric Roberts, Kevin Stapleton, and Frida Farrell.
Eric Roberts.
I don't know. So this one is about a corrupt Emperor Tiberius who forces his bravest general Marcus to subdue the monstrous Cyclops that has been decimating the countryside. Once the Cyclops is brought to the dungeons, Marcus is forced to fight in the Gladiator Games. Eventually, he and the Cyclops become allies, and they fight together to defeat the corrupt Emperor and his evil nephew, along with a beautiful barbarian.
Okay.
All right, so plot keywords. Cyclops, Emperor, corrupt, general, and dungeon. What is the IMDb rating of Cyclops?
Yeah, I saw. Don't
Yeah,
look, Colin.
yeah.
Don't look.
No, that's what I was gonna. That's what I was getting at. It's like Eric Roberts was like in a bunch of like made-for-TV
Why am
movies.
I not? The
Oh.
name sounds familiar, but I'm not placing a face.
Did you remember the cable guy? That movie.
briefly?
There was like the trial that was going on in the whole movie,
No, I
and there
don't
was like
remember
a TV movie based on what it was like the
Oh.
murder that was based on, and Eric Roberts was the star in that movie. So he was like in a movie. So based on that knowledge that I have of him, and what has now been presented by Ingaris, I am going to go with a 3.9.
Okay. Philip, is it higher or lower than a 3.9?
I'm gonna say it's higher.
Chris? Or is he exactly right?
You don't have to keep presenting that option.
I know.
I'm gonna go lower. I'm gonna take the lower.
Okay. So the actual rating is 2.9. So Colin gets a point and Chris gets a point.
How many points you got over there,
And
Philip?
Ingaris
What's
gets
that?
a point.
How many points you got?
I got all the points.
Aw.
All the points that matter.
All right,
right.
Philip, it's back to you. If you
All
get
right.
it right on, you get 5 points.
Yeah,
you've
okay. That's not gonna
one-
happen.
you've,
Like-
already. Okay. So your movie is called Robot Jocks, like JOX. Jocks. What the hell?
Already not above a 5. You can already take 5 off for that.
All right. So this came out in 1989.
Oh.
It stars Gary Graham, Anne Marie Johnson, and Paul Koslow. And it is post-World War III. War is outlawed. In its place are matches between large robots called robot jocks. These matches take place between two large superpowers over disputed territories.
Wasn't that the plot
That
of
was
the
the plot
movie?
of Gundam.
No, not even. Well, not even that. I was thinking the Hugh Jackman thing.
Yeah, there was the Hugh Jackman movie
Oh,
too,
the,
but this is
where they built
super something steel, real
something
steel.
real steel.
real steel.
Yeah.
All right.
No, this is the plot of
This is the
G
plot of
Gundam. That's what this is.
All right. So in this movie, oh my gosh, in this movie,
I wanna look up the-
Robot Jocks, the main character Achilles is a pilot in one of the large robots. The plot revolves around him and a match for the state of Alaska. So plot keywords: we have robot, giant robot, post-apocalypse, future, and fictitious sport. What is this movie rated?
Those are the kind of keywords I can get behind.
Right?
Fictitious sport.
Fictitious sport. Yeah.
I
Well,
like
there's also Future Sport.
I like,
Oh.
well, it's just future, but
No,
I
no,
like
I'm saying
robot
there-
and
there-
giant robot.
There's a movie called Future Sport.
Oh, this I'm gonna give this movie a 4.2.
Okay, Chris, is it higher or lower than 4.2?
I'm going to go lower, but just for reference, I want you to know that I just looked up the rating of Mobile Fighter G Gundam, and
Okay.
it was rated a 7.6 out of 10. So
Ooh.
booyah.
All right,
What was the number?
4.6.
4.2.
Oh, 2. 4.2.
I'm gonna go down, lower.
So you're both saying lower.
Yep.
It is
Seems
actually
like-
higher. It is rated
Ah.
5.3.
Whoa.
So Philip gets 2 points.
All right. Won the
We
board.
just handed that to him.
yeah,
All right.
that was a pity one.
So Chris, your movie is Death Stalker.
Yeah, does he get a point for chat going lower too?
No. Oh, yeah, sure. No, just kidding.
What? You said chat gets points? How come I don't get points when chat?
No.
I don't get points
All
when
right.
chat's wrong? All right, whatever.
So Chris, your movie is called Death Stalker.
Death
It was
Stalker.
released in 1983.
Oh.
It stars Rick Hill, Barbie Benton, and Richard Brooker. So the warrior Death Stalker is tasked by an old witch to obtain and unite the 3 powers of creation, a chalice, an amulet, and a sword, lest the evil magician Munkar get them and use them for nefarious purposes. After obtaining the sword, Deathstalker joins with other travelers going to the big tournament to determine the strongest warrior. The false king holds the true princess in captivity and plots to have Deathstalker killed, and Deathstalker must fight to free the princess. So plot keywords: sword and sorcery, lust, sex scene, sword, and witch.
So he gets 3 points for the sex.
3 points for the sex scene right there. I mean, no, this was 83 though.
Hey, Garrett says this was actually the start of a trilogy of movies.
Oh Lord!
All right, so what is this rating?
I feel like this is a plot
How
to a
much
Zelda
information
game.
do you have in front of you? Like, can I ask you who directed this or produced this movie?
I think she just typed up information.
Okay,
which
don't
is why.
worry
Okay,
about
don't
don't
worry
worry
about
about
that,
that. It was only if you had it like up in front of you.
Well, by the time you're done talking.
Well, we didn't look up the other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
didn't
don't
look-
worry about
We
it.
didn't look up the other
Okay.
ones. All right,
It's
so what was the keywords again?
Roger Corman.
Sword and sorcery, lust, sex scene, sword, and witch.
Oh, see, I 4.4.
Colin?
I will, the sex scene thing is, I'm going to go slightly higher.
Okay.
Slightly higher.
Slightly higher.
All right. Philip? You said 4.4, right?
He
Mhm.
said 4.4.
That's the trick. Is you got to make it to where it's hard.
Yeah.
You got to make it hard.
I'm gonna go higher.
Higher? 4.5.
Nice. Can I get 5 points for that?
No!
Whatever.
That's so cheating.
Oh,
It's
that
not
was-
cheating.
You
That
were
was-
so close.
Whatever.
I
I'm
was-
giving myself points for
Can
that.
Can I just say
What?
congratulations on not having your face betrayed? Okay. I've known you for a long time, and
I can't
your
lie.
face will just like.
I know. I
She's
have.
gotten
I have
good at bluffing. Like, she
This is
says,
true.
I suck at bluffing. Like, that's a bluff right there.
Whatever. I'm gonna edit this to say, oh, it's 4.5.
Okay. All right. So, Colin, movies. Your last movie,
All
because
right.
the last movie we're all gonna you're each gonna give me your rating for.
Mm.
And then whoever's closest, I guess.
Yeah.
Closest in which way? Like actual
Close-
absolute value, or closest without going
Closest
over?
absolute value.
Okay.
Okay. So, Colin, your movie is called The Arena. It
All
was
right.
released in 2001. It has Karen McDougal, Lisa Durgan, and Sutalova.
That's my favorite actor right there.
I don't know. Okay. So
I
in it,
thought that was a type of food.
so I might be pronouncing her name wrong, but in an age of gladiators, the power that was Rome held its empire together with the might of its armies, the sweat and tears of its conquests, and the cheers and bloodlust of its citizens, glorified in the deadly spectacle of the arena. Stolen from their homelands, the fiery druid maiden Boadicea, exotic slave girl Jessamina, and the powerful barbarian Flavius, are pitted against each other as gladiators by the sadistic Roman governor Tiamarchus. Plot keywords are gladiator, slave, slave girl, druid, and Roman. What is the rating of The Arena?
It sounds like they're onto something both good and generic. So, I'm going to go with a 5.7.
Okay. Philip, is it higher or lower than 5.7?
I'm gonna go lower.
Chris?
Who was in it again?
Karen McDougal, Lisa Durgan, and
Suta.
Sutalova. Sutalova. I don't know.
Can you use that in a sentence?
No. I don't know.
What the heck? I'm gonna go higher just 'cause I'm gonna be the contrarian.
Okay, so Phillips, you said lower.
I said lower.
Okay, so and you said 5.7.
Yep.
The actual rating is 2.8.
All right.
So you each get it. So Philip and Colin each get it.
Right.
All right.
All right. So our last movie. You ready for this?
Oh no.
Is it Gladiator?
It's Gladiator, released in the year 2000, which is much more.
Makes more sense
Yes,
now.
exactly. And this stars Russell Crowe, Joaquin Phoenix, and Connie Nielsen. A former Roman general sets out to exact vengeance against the corrupt emperor who murdered his family and sent him into slavery. Plot keywords: gladiator, Roman Empire, slavery, combat, and battlefield. And Colin is cheating.
No, I'm getting something to type my answer into.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do that. Let's type our answers. That
No.
way, or
No answers change on the fly.
Oh, okay.
you can't change it based on what other people have said.
Well, I mean, okay, yeah, you're right.
Go ahead, lock your answer in.
Okay. I'm locked.
I'm not. This is hard because it's a memorable movie,
Don't look at the screen.
but I don't know if it was a good movie.
See, I'm at an advantage here, I think, because I haven't actually seen the whole movie.
I have.
Oh.
We haven't.
No.
Our teacher showed it
Oh.
in PE class.
PE?
He ran out of stuff to talk about in health, so we saw Gladiator, we saw Spartacus.
I've seen like the intro, like the famous "Are You Not Entertained" scene,
Yeah.
and like the ending.
All right.
No.
And so- To make this still fair, this is going to be worth 2 points, whoever's closest. So Chris still has a chance.
I don't
to
know what
win.
you're talking about because I got a
What?
stack of 5 over here.
But same thing. If you get it right on, you get 5 points.
Okay.
Ah, crap.
What?
I already know my answer's nowhere close.
Oh.
So you guys are all in.
I'm all in, but I just realized, and Gareth said, reminded me it was an Oscar winner. So now I'm like, dang it.
Okay. So we'll start with Philip first. What's your answer?
Okay. My answer is 8.1.
Okay, Chris.
I went with the 6.7.
Okay, and Colin.
And I said 7.7.
And drum roll, 8.5. Philip's our winner.
Yay!
Good job.
All right.
And Philip actually takes the game because now he has 6 and Colin has
I don't know what you're
5.
talking about. I have
And
8
Chris has-
points over here.
Chris has 3.
I'm pretty sure my stack says 8.
If anything, that 5 points should be mine because I said slightly higher.
You
than
You
did,
did say
you
slightly
did.
higher, and you were
did.
0.1 over.
But I will
Anyway.
concede victory to Philip.
I
So-
won't.
All
I'm
hail
sorry.
the
I know.
beard.
Poor Gareth, he was 1 point off. I feel so bad. I mean, if I could really, if
What
I
was
could
it,
give you
8 point
actual
what?
points,
What was it?
It was 8.5.
8.5. He said 8.4.
I'm going to
Yeah.
say Angaris gets it because
He
we're
was
I mean,
closer. He's
he is closer. But can we send him
No.
something? Can we like send him like?
Yes.
Okay.
Do we have
sure.
like boards and swords stickers or something? We should get those made.
Yes, we're gonna.
Hey,
we're
Angaris,
gonna-
send an email to
feedback@boardsandswords.com.
yeah with your
I've
address,
still-
and we're gonna send you a little prize
I
for
still got stuff
for
in the
being
box.
that close to.
Yes.
The
What are you
correct
talking about? If we're
Actually,
saying-
you won all these because you guessed correctly.
Well, there was
for
a
all of
couple he
them.
got wrong, but he was pretty much on track with me most of, except for a few he got more than me. Yeah, and if we're going by Chris Renshaw rules, that was dead on. I don't know what you're talking about. That's 5 points. Right
Close counts in everything.
That's right.
there. 0.1, really? That is a margin of error.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have statistics friends that will back me up on this.
I mean, it is, yes, but for the intents and purposes of our game, you were not right on, dead on.
Some of the machining on our phones are higher than 0.1. So it's
Anyway, so yes, so if you liked talking about Gladiator stuff, go to our Facebook page and enter our contest, and you can win Gorus Maximus. Yay, Gorus Maximus! And Colin? What was the?
So we are
contest
we are
rules?
seeking comments that talk about the most embarrassing way to die in a gladiator fight, and a bonus entry for a storytelling of any combination of the
Some
four
sort
of
of
us.
fight, including us.
Yeah, any of the four of us. It can be just like 2 or even Phil just beating himself up.
Yeah.
Just tell us a tale of a fight between us.
Yeah,
I
you
want to
can
see a
find
fight
that-
between Phil and Nega Phil, which is really just like a good Phil,
It's Phil with hair.
yes, there we go.
but can't
that is
grow
your,
facial hair.
It's the reverse because like your
Yeah,
evil
you're-
twin is supposed to have a
exactly.
mustache.
yeah.
But yeah, there we go.
Mhm.
Nice.
But he's
Anyway,
he can't grow facial hair.
Can't grow facial hair at all.
so yeah.
I went too far. All right, that's all we've got this week. So there you go. I didn't even have to say it.
I'm on it.
He's right there. All right. Hey, did you like this show?
Oh.
Oh, so now we got to start all over.
I missed the fade button. I'm sorry.
I just talked louder.
There we go.
Faded? Okay, gotcha. Hey, everybody, if you like this show, then you are going to love our other podcast. We do a live play podcast called The Dirtbags of Holding. That's where we sit down at this table and we play the best RPGs in the best way possible, which is we completely screw them up. Completely.
Uh-huh. So you can email us comments and questions at feedback@boardsandswords.com. You can follow us on Instagram at boardsandswordspod or on Facebook at facebook.com/boardsandswordspod. You should also follow our individual accounts. I'm Cindy Pastorius on Twitter and Instagram.
I'm CallCakes196 on Twitter and Instagram.
I'm Chris the Prof on Twitter and Instagram.
And I'm Phil the Dirtbag on Twitter.
So we are also part of the Dice Tower Network, and you can check out some other awesome gaming podcasts if you go to dicetowernetwork.com. And dicetowernetwork.com is also sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc. They have all kinds of gaming deals on their website, coolstuffinc.com. Every week, a new deal. Every day, a new deal. Check it out.
Speaking of sponsors, we got to throw it back one more time to Easy Roller Dice. Make sure you go check out their website for great stuff, and thank them for sponsoring us. But in the meantime, come back next time, as I believe we're going to revise our top 10 list.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
So you're not going to want to miss out on that. Come back 2 weeks. boardsandswords.com/live. You can see our complete streaming schedule there. And in the meantime, remember that everyone's got a story, and mine is that close counts and horseshoes, hand grenades, and this contest, because I won. I know what you're talking about. That's the sound of all the stuff I got there.
It only sounded like 3 coins. Because that's what you have is 3 coins.
Now I'm missing one.
Perfect ending. Like right when it's at the end, I'm missing one.
Oh, it's like the ending to Serenity.
Oh, yeah.
They're flying away. What was that?